Welcome back to the Paramount Sports Complex in Cartersville, Georgia for another playoff match. This one is between the Atlanta Lightning and the Raiders Unlimited. Sagar Patel and Shamar Brooks are at the crease, having been put into bat by the Raiders Unlimited. The Atlanta Lightning are struggling. This is a 15-over match. The score after 3 overs is 9-2. Calvin Savage with the new ball in hand. Brian Walters here, and I'm happy to be joined by somebody who, frankly, is younger and way better looking than me. Ryan Davis, good afternoon.
Thank you, Brian. It's the Brian and Ryan show. And because it's a 15-over affair, you can understand that the death overs are going to start a lot earlier, Brian.
Oh, bang on target. As soon as you say that, lofted right down the ground for 6. That is a sweet strike by Shamar Brooks. Maybe Calvin Savage getting that one just a touch too full, playing right through the line for 6.
Well, Savage, a seasoned player, he's going to have to adjust that line and length. If he wants to pitch it up, it has to be outside off stump and a little fuller, right into the wheelhouse. Beautifully played, and of course the maximum.
Goodness, Shamar Brooks. Apologies if your scorecard says Shamar Springer. That is, in fact, Shamar Brooks. So kind of comeback delivery. This is a much better ball. Dropped into the offside, the run through for a quick single. So 15 overs, as you mentioned, the death overs start earlier. What sort of score do you think would be acceptable for such a shortened game, given the stakes?
I would say about a 125. 125 would be a very, if you look at a T20 game, which is 160, will be average score. I think 125 will be competitive, enough to defend.
Certainly those 2 wickets that have already fallen would make a difference. Unmuk Chand and Lahir Milantha, those are 2 big wickets to lose, and both of them were dismissed without scoring. So that puts you in a bit of a hold. But of course, Sagar Patel and Shamar Springer are both capable batters. Short cutaway, but right to point for no run. Nosh Kenjige in that spot, one of the better fielders you'll see anywhere.
Savage finding that corridor of uncertainty, and if his captain can have him bowl there, more often than not, they're going to definitely get a score that they can chase.
Of course, Calvin Savage featured in the recently completed Major League Tournament. Generally a very good bowler. Bang on target most times. Got hit for 6 first ball this over. This is drilled down the ground. It's a good diving stop. Of course, with it being, 56, 57 degrees and a good stiff wind blowing, several of these fielders have jackets on, so we might not be able to identify them by number.
Tell you what, the wind chill factor in Rydell has been all day today. And just a quick reminder to the viewers, the outfield is very thick and slow, so the fielders themselves will have an impact supporting the bowlers in preventing boundaries.
So pretty much looking to run on everything here. That's Akhilesh Bodagam, I believe, at backward point. As a stiff wind blowing directly into us here from the north. In fact, if that ball is lifted down the ground in the air.
You know, you have to love playing cricket in the US. You have 3 different elements in 3 different days. There's a warm Wednesday, a rainy Thursday, and a cold Friday.
Oh my goodness. Even though today is Saturday, I do take the point.
Yes.
And so we'll see exactly how Calvin Savage closes out. In the air, doesn't get all of it, but will get enough of it to get it to the boundary. Thick inside edge is what that felt like, Ryan, and goes over for 4.
And if you're Savage, you're going to live with that. It was a good delivery, just short of a length again, and the batter had to go out of his comfort zone, got most of it, not off the middle of the bat, but enough to get it over mid-wicket and get another boundary.
So that is the end of over number 4. 11 more to go. 22 for 2. So that last over from Calvin Savage, a little expensive, 13 runs coming from it. But bear in mind that the captain himself has taken the 2 wickets to fall so far. Again, the 2 scalps of Unmuk Chand and Lahir Milantha, 2 big-time players, both featured heavily in the major leagues, both longtime members of the minor league system here in the U.S., and both back in the hutch without scoring. This is Nush Kenjige into the attack now, bowling to Shamar Brooks, working the first one into the deep for a single.
So important for the left-arm orthodox bowler to keep the batters on the back foot during this early part of the game. Have them try to score runs off the back foot and try to generate power off of their back foot.
Yeah, Nush Kenjige, very sharp, very intelligent bowler, and will know to do exactly what you just suggested. Now, 2 fielders in the deep at this stage of the innings. Skied. It should be a simple catch by Kenjige himself. 3 down. What a big wicket that one is.
Just short of a length. Textbook bowling by the left-arm orthodox player. And as he tried to put across the line of the ball, that leading edge, going against the turn, Brian. And another scalp for Kenjige.
Well, I think you called it, because the left arm orthodox spinner, any amount of turn that you see, and this pitch in the last couple of days has taken a bit more turn. So that turn is going to be across, away from the right-hander. He actually tried to pull that one to mid-wicket, by definition going across the turn. Interestingly, look who is walking in now. This is going to be Raymond Reefer. Raymond Reefer is a left-handed batter, so he does not have the same challenge that the others would have had to the left arm spinner.
Women and children, look out. This man can hit the ball a long way. And like you mentioned, leg side. Can you start your walk in from behind the rope, Brian?
You absolutely
Can you start your walk in behind the rope?
You are going to need to. Now, Reefer, of course, playing for West Indies for a number of years. As recently, correct me if I'm wrong, he played in the tests earlier this year, batted at number 3 if I remember correctly. So certainly has plenty of ability with the bat. This is not a test match situation. There's only another 64 deliveries remaining in this innings, and they need to have quick runs. So I think you're exactly right. The women and children need to take cover. Bowling around the wicket to the lefty. This one fired down the leg side. And for the first time in this resumption of play, wide ball signal.
Kenjige just trying to bowl a flatter delivery at the toes. Reefer.
I don't know what he's found here. A couple of full deliveries, low full tosses. This one clipped behind square. They'll get 2. Do they want 3? They are coming back for 3. And that's good work. Of course, these 2 would have played together, both from the island of Barbados, Brooks and Reefer. And 3 runs to the total.
If you line up 10 batters and ask them, what would you like as your first delivery? A full toss onto your pads. Kenjige applies, and of course, off the mark is Reefer.
Now, Nush Kenjige, one of the better spinners that you'll find anywhere. So I don't know if he's bowling to a specific plan, because there's 2 fielders behind square on the leg side for Reefer. Maybe he spotted something there he's trying to take advantage of. Quick single taken here. Now, good understanding between those 2. Sprint through for another couple of runs, for another single.
Brian, we can't underestimate when the good balls are bowled to still gather singles off of them, rotate the strike, and that mounts up as pressure towards the bowler to try to get things inch perfect. And when bowlers try to do that, that's when errors are made.
Such an important element of a game. So Reefer now with 2 balls remaining here in over number 5, I'm sorry. That should be another single. Exactly as you mentioned, when the good balls are there, still score off of them. Put the pressure on the bowling side. And also with the left and right hand combination, that keeps things a little bit disruptive, and some another element that these batters will find to their advantage.
Well, Kenjige only has 1 delivery or 1 delivery left to work on the righty. Let's see how he operates. Again, forcing on the back foot, Brian, like we talked about. You want to have the spinner force the batter backwards, and an end of a semi-productive over for Kenjige.
Five overs bowled. and the tall figure of, in fact, I thought at first that Akhilesh Bodogam was going to be bowling, and in fact, we'll confirm exactly who the bowler is shortly. But Nash Kenji get 2 overs, 1 for 12. Calvin Savage, 2 overs, 2 for 16. Those are your 2 wicket takers from the 3 wickets. In fact, this is Akhilesh Bodogam bowling from the southern end of the ground. Off spinner now bowling to the right-hander. And we're out of the power play because 5 overs have been bowled. This will be interesting. Around the wicket. No, oh my goodness, a direct hit there might have asked a question or two, and now they get a single.
Well, the captain, Savage, a little extra emotion in play here as the captain wants to get that wicket. Took the chance, the dot ball turned into an overthrow, but again, the spinner doing the right thing, forcing Reefer backwards.
Now, this is of course a matchup that has a different element to it because this is a right-hander. Turn will be into him and hitting with the wind if he chooses to go aerial. Brooks, this one in the gap, coming back for a second. Good aggressive running. Reefer immediately knowing he was going to the danger end, converting that 1 into 2. So it'll be interesting to see how Bodogam does here to Brooks. It's going to be something to pay attention to. In the air, catchable, is it? No, in the gap. Beats mid-wicket and 2 wide for long on. Another boundary.
Understand, because it's a shortened version of the game, 15 overs, Shamar Springer's role becomes that more important now. He goes to 19 off of 14. Has to become somewhat of the anchor brand. See through the middle overs and allow his team to get a big score coming towards the end.
Yeah, Brooks is going to be very important indeed. So let's see exactly what Akhilesh Bodogam does here in response. Fires it through more quickly. This one now down to long on for a single. But look at the run in between the wickets. These two, they run the first one hard and are having the opportunity to come back for the second. So even if they don't get the second, they're putting the pressure on the fielding side. And again, with the left-hand, right-hand combination, that's going to be something to pay attention to. Now, watch deep mid-wicket here. Nash Kenjiga in that spot. I think they're expecting Reefer to go in that direction. This is played into the offside for a single.
You can see the overcompensation by Bodogam to put that ball on off, turning away from the left-hander. So understanding that Reefer will have to do something out of the ordinary to get that over to mid-wicket. But mentioned it before, running between the wickets, this is a very slow outfield. The batters are going to have to conjure runs. So running between the wickets will be a factor today.
You're exactly right. So now 1 ball remaining. Brooks on strike. Hammered, but again, the slow outfield. Any other proper cricket ground, that races away for 4. They get 4 minus 2 on that occasion. Hammered into the deep, but only 2 runs. So an important passage of play here as they look to accumulate. You expect that they'll charge on toward the back end. Score up to 6 is 40 for 3. So 40 for 3. Once again, we're playing a 15-over match. Definitely in the knockout stages of this tournament. The back end of the tournament, as they say, the Atlanta Lightning and the Raiders Unlimited. Raiders Unlimited winning the toss, choosing to bowl, and finding immediate success. But the 2 batters at the crease, Shamar Brooks and Raymond Reefer, are both very capable. Both can shift through the gears. So an interesting passage of play here.
Yeah, both of these have to form a partnership, solidify something, and that will allow them to cut loose as the overs begin to expire.
Outside off. Too far outside off for the liking of the umpire.
The wide outside off stump, we're going to drag in the other bat and ball sport here, baseball. Does it become a little bit more of the umpires or referees, umpires' discretion with between a ball and a strike in baseball and
Right.
a wide and a not? I've seen many bowlers turn in disgust towards the umpire, but understanding it's an impossible task sometimes
This is
to
true.
distinguish between the two.
Now, that blue line that the umpires use as a guide is exactly that. It's a guide. It's not definitive. And we get, appeal for a catch. Gone! That is a big wicket, a body blow. We'll get back to the wide discussion in a minute because Raymond Reefer goes for one outside the line of off, feathers it through to the keeper. Unmukhchand snapping it up. And we know in fact, my apologies, the keeper snapping it up, and it goes through to keeper Hamza Tariq. Here we see on the replay, outside the line of off. Raymond Reefer reaching for it, feathering a simple one through.
Sadly for Reefer, is what we call an out shot in cricket. His foot was so far from the bat, there was no power involved. It was almost like a dab. Only bad things can happen when you play so far from your body, and Reefer paying the ultimate price.
So yeah, he does feather one through. So 4 wickets are down. When you win the toss and choose to bowl, this is what you're looking to have happen. And that might have been more pronounced in the morning. I think batting conditions are better right now, but still, you've made big inroads into the lineup, and all of a sudden, they're wobbling. Jesse Bhutan, the new batter, coming in to join Shamar Brooks, 24 from 17 with a 4 and a 6. Bhutan bats well. He's a heavy hitter, but I think he'd prefer to come in and play with a little bit more freedom than what he'll have now.
Well, he'll appreciate the 15 overs rather than the 20 coming at this point.
Yes.
So he'll get into his role of big hitter pretty soon.
And just to level set the bowlers, Pankaj Rao. Pankaj Rao now bowling to Bhutan. Keeper snapping that one up, Hamza Tariq. Ready again as here comes Rao. Good delivery, defended into the onside for a quick single.
That ball was too far from the stump, I think. Right across his stumps, found the gap. Again, a good delivery, just on or off, outside off stump. Turned it to the leg side, picked up a single, and like we said, Brian, we're going to hammer away at this. Even the good balls, you have to find a way to conjure those singles to get a total to defend.
My goodness, how important is this passage of play, because there's not a whole lot of batting to come next. You still have Ravindra Prasad, who can hit a good long ball. Well, bowled and defended. Junaid Siddiqui can swing his bat. Dexter Sween is a big, strong guy, but no out-and-out batters left. It may be that these two are your last 2 out-and-out batters. Maybe these two want to take it past the 10-over mark to allow the others to just come in and play more freely.
I think that has to be the discussion in between overs between these two, the last specialist batsmen. After this, it's all-rounders and bowlers. So, yes, you can't allow a couple of deliveries to go by, understanding that the long game will be these two have to occupy the crease for some overs to come.
So Brooks, his role becomes very, very important because he certainly has been there longer. Faced 18 balls, scored 24 runs. Now make that 25 and 19 with those 2. But Bhutan, who again is a big hitter, he's a proper batter but is more renowned for being a big hitter than somebody who sorts of shepherds in innings. So you'd expect that role to go to Brooks. It's going to be really important to see how he handles things from here. So Pankaj Rao, 1.5 overs, 1 for 4. Hammered straight, good looking shot, but it will just be a single down to long on. Now they come back for the second. There's the urgency that we're looking for. That's how you convert 1 into 2.
Have to generate the runs in between the wickets, the batters, they understand that. But just looking at the stem of wickets, we've already continued this game with only 2 to 3 overs, 2 wickets falling. Brian, when wickets fall, it takes a toll on the run rate. So these 2 batters have to understand their role at the moment to stem the tide, and only when you occupy the crease, then the runs can come. If there's a procession of wickets, the run rate will take a toll.
So important. Last ball now over number 7, sliced off the outside edge, 1 bounce, goes away for 4. So that's what I was referring to about Bhutan. He's a big, strong man. So he was looking to play that probably mid-wicket, That ball went exactly 180 degrees away from where he looked for it, but 4 runs none the same.
Fortune favors the brave.
Yes.
When you flash your blade like that, if you're going to go for it big. And it pays off for the big man. 4 runs to the total. And looks like we have a new bowler coming from the southern end.
That's the end of the over. 4.5 for 4. It's a new bowler coming from the southern end, Rochelle Ugarker, a young pacer. And I think he would want you to know that he just won the championship. A member of the Dallas Mustangs. They won the minor league championship in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Still has that glow, huh?
He does still have the glow. He almost doesn't care what happens in this match. Yorker length, good delivery. Oh my goodness, that might have been close. And now they might be close again at the keeper's end. A more wayward throw than it was expected. An accurate throw may have just seen Jesse Bhutan in some trouble, but he gets there without any more difficulty.
Like the aggressiveness by the batters between the wickets, putting pressure on the fielders fielding side, making mistakes. They get a run out of nothing, which would have been a dot ball. Can't have the fielding team sit back and get comfortable in the field. Have to keep asking the question.
You're absolutely right, and you do have to keep asking the question. But those two just had a quick chat in the middle, Bhutan and Brooks. And I think it goes something like, "Don't get me run out, please." Here's Ugarker. Yorker length sliced away. How far did that go? 1 bounce and goes away for 4. So give Brooks just the amount of width that he was looking for. I don't mind the length. The line was bad.
I'm going to disagree with you on Brian.
Oh!
I think he's looking for the Yorker outside off stump. But if you miss that Yorker, it turns into a half volley. And this big man, Bhutan, is not going to miss many of those. Just before this, though, Brian, we saw the quick run between the wickets, and the wicketkeeper took one from Bhutan as he's following through.
Yes.
You don't want to be in the other end of Bhutan when he's trying to follow through and through the wickets.
Bhutan is built like an NFL tight end.
Yes.
So he's not somebody you want to run into or have run into you. Next delivery. Again, looking for that Yorker, and again, you, Ryan Davis, are a genius. You called it full outside off, outside edge found, catch taken by Akhilesh Bodogum, 54 for 5.
Well, this time it wasn't a half volley, pitched just a half inch or an inch further up, found the outside edge, and that fly slip, you recall it, takes a catch, often seen in T20 cricket. Here's a look at it again. This time, just pitch it further up, gets the outside edge. Good catch. Any catch behind the wicket is a good catch. And the prize wicket of Bhutan falls, and the procession of wickets continue. Let's see how that affects the run rate.
Goodness. Well, you know how it's going to affect the run rate. It's going to bring it back down to earth. But you mentioned 125 might be a decent target. They have some work to do to get toward 125.
These all-rounders better be able to bat.
These all-rounders are now thrown in at the deep end, and
That's
they need
right.
runs. Just a word about that catch, by the way. So I've known Akhilesh Bodogum for a number of years. He has worked so hard on his fielding and on his catching. I think it's fair to say, and he will admit, that a couple of years ago he didn't have the safest pair of hands in the world. But you can see him often in coaching sessions immediately after practice, before practice, where just, please, hit me 30, 40 balls. That's the fruit of that labor, and that's really something that I like to see. Ugarker now bowling to the new batter, Ravindra Prasad. Wide to start out with. But your thoughts on what I just said, because I think that's important.
You know, as the game has abbreviated, so much emphasis and such a factor in the game is fielding and catching. Impossible catches are now expected to be taken. And I think the emphasis usually falls on batting and bowling in the nets, but the fielding, like you just mentioned, how he individually took it upon himself to improve that area, I guess he's now affected the match.
My goodness, yes. Good delivery. Do they want two? They're running hard. Brooks coming back. And the throw going to the keeper's end. That is the aggressive running again that we're talking about.
Well, the fielders out on the ropes have to understand, because of the slow outfield, you have to cover ground quicker as that ball comes off the bat. You're not going to get beaten because of the slow outfield. You then have to cover and get in, cover ground, and make the twos into ones. So an adjustment by the fielding side has to be made because of the environment.
Scoop shot. That is over the head of the fielder. Short fine leg. Not going to go for 4. And pull back their run for 2 more. But under the circumstances, they're looking to manufacture runs. Do you think that your big hitter would come in scooping a shot over fine leg?
Fantastically played. Excellent technique. But I tell you something, Brian, you have to love the modern game.
Oh, geez.
That shot, if I attempted that shot, my coach would have me run around the field in pads until nighttime. But now the 360 part of the game is in play, and you have to try to conjure up runs behind the wicket now.
Oh, my goodness. So a couple more runs, 59 for 5. We have 1 ball remaining in the eighth over. Run him out is the call. A direct hit there would have been interesting, but the aggressive running between the wickets continues. That is the end of 8. 60 for 5. So Ryan, 60 for 5. This appears again to be Akhilesh Bodugum to take up the attack from the northern end of the ground this time. Tell me what might have gone into that thinking.
I think a change of pace, a change of angle, understanding the 2 medium pieces bowl back to back. You bring your spinner back on. The batters now have to adjust again to the variation in speed. And just to give him a chance to come down the hill rather than up the hill, can have the imposing figure, the tall spinner, get a better angle at the batter.
Ravindra Prasad in the air, catchable and taken. Very soft dismissal, it has to be said. Not much in the shot. The ball lofted down the throat of deep mid-wicket. 60 for 6.
Understanding what the game needs. Fantastic stuff by the captain. He brings his spinner back on. Stump to stump bowling, we call this, Brian. Nothing big about it. He bowled it off stump. The batter had to go out of his comfort zone to score. Finds the man at deep mid wicket. Another wicket. The procession continues. So the fielding team right now, they are in control. Now they get to stay within their game. Don't have to do anything special. All the pressure now is on the batters.
I think it's obvious that the pressure is on the batters. The question to be asked, and I'm going to go back to the young man who's standing currently at the southern end of the ground, but who also will be the non-striker when the new batter comes in. I believe this is going to be, we'll get the new batter as soon as possible. But the bigger issue is this. Dexter Sween is the new batter. Big, strong man, but the man at the other end, Brooks, is who everything relies on from here. Brooks is going to have to play a dual role. He's almost like in NFL terms, he's a player coach at this point, because he has to shepherd the setting of a target. He wants to get to that 120, 125, but it won't happen by accident. How does he approach it?
Brian, dare he start to shield strike?
No way.
Dare he start to shield strike?
In a 15-over match, it would be the first
Get the
time.
single off the 5th ball and start to face the other 5. I mean, odds are you're going to score higher runs if he starts facing more deliveries. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But Shamar Brooks may be the first. Look at this.
Goes past the outside edge. And I think in talking about why the switch was made to bring Akhilesh Bodugum from the northern end, is that if Dexter Sween or any of the other batters from this end elevate the ball, they'll be hitting it into the wind. And that might be another consideration as well.
And the wind is a factor on this ground.
Played off the back foot, they'll get an easy single here.
Now, Shamar Brooks has been a spectator for such a long period of time.
Yep.
Still 26 off of 20 deliveries, a 6 and a 4. Now, remember, he has not faced in a while. Does he take one or go to work immediately?
Oh my goodness. You got the answer to your question there. He almost dragged one back on.
I think I saw a similar shot in the beaches of Barbados near the water. Cross bat. Let's hope Shamar Brooks can get back into his shape. Oh, beautiful.
Cheeky. Very cheeky. Delicate late cut on an outfield that is not quite as thick, that may well have run away for 4. But as it is, he'll get a couple runs. Now 1 ball remaining in over number 9.
It took an initial delivery to get him back to his senses. Now Shamar Brooks keeps his shape, opens the face of the back bat, and the late cut, a thing of beauty.
Straight to the sweeper on the offside. A semi-productive over for the Atlanta Lightning, but one in which a wicket falls. So at the end of over number 9, the score is 64 for 6. So Shamar Brooks, this for me is an over that he's going to be looking to be aggressive. Good ball though, right in the block hole, defended into the leg side for a single.
Well, picked up a wicket in the last over, just nibbling on that full delivery outside off stump, going right back to work, coming up the hill from the southern end. And you have to have those bowlers with that very, very technical run-up and action to bowl in this sort of uphill situation and not straight down the leg side. But he's now bowling to the big Dexter Sween.
In the air, couple bounces down to long on, and that's all that they will get. What are you looking for from Sween here? Big, strong. If I mentioned Bhutan looked like an NFL tight end, I would say Sween looks more like an NBA power forward.
Well,
what are you anticipating from him?
If I ever tangle up in a fight with Dexter Sween, exactly that. I just hand him the basketball and run. That's what I'll do. I think that's the best advice you could give someone.
But Brooks back on. Brooks back on strike. Rushil Ugarkar bowling well so far. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's the delivery that you described, full outside the line of off.
Almost impossible to get the middle of the bat onto it. You just have to open the face of the bat and run it down in that angle. But now you need to see the batters improvise. Bat outside of the crease, try and throw the bowler off his line and his length. You cannot sit back there and allow him to dictate much longer, Brian.
Sliced away. Should be just 1, and that's all they'll get. Good work by the sweeper. Look at that bullet of a throw from the outfield. So they're doing it in 1s at this stage. You certainly don't want them to not score in 1s, but I think the Atlanta Lightning will want more than that.
Really want to see how Dexter Sween approaches this delivery. He's now faced one, a full delivery. He's now spectated a full delivery from the other end. Let's see if he improvises.
I was pulled away with force, but that is a fielder down at the boundary. That's Nosh Kenjige. And I'll tell you what, once again, the outfield is what saved 2 runs there, because that off the bat, in fact 3 runs, because off the bat I thought for all money that would have been a boundary.
I think they got a single because Dexter Sween thought he's hit a 4.
Yes.
So he just stood up there and looked at it and realized he had to actually run. So Brooks now, let's see his approach to.
In the air, catchable. No, can't quite get to it. The fielder on the sweeping in the covers. But once again, just a single. So what good bowling here by young Rochelle Ugarkar, bowling to an obvious plan and executing it to perfection.
Well, backward point and cover have to be on their toes. Ugarkar, like you mentioned, Brian, living just outside off stump, and the batters have no choice but to feed in that area.
Last delivery over number 10. Oh, that might have been, in fact, it is a no ball. So maybe we'll put the commentator's curse on him because he was bowling very well up until that point. But the full toss is above waist height. No ball, free hit.
Well, Shamar Brooks, the man in form, 34 and 26. He has a free hit. I'm getting my helmet out of my bag for this delivery. And Ugarkar has been fantastic so far. But I think one just sort of slipped out of the fingers in that one, Brian.
So, of course, on a free hit, barring being run out or any other mode of dismissal that the bowler does not get credit for, you cannot be out. So expect that Shamar Brooks is going to be swinging for the fences here. He does swing for the fences, but again, that is a beautifully bowled ball. The free hit only costs 1 run. You'll take that all day if you're the skipper. Single to close things out here in over number 10, 7-3 for 6. Okay, so 5 overs remaining, 30 balls, 7-3 for 6. Can you get to the 125 that the great Ryan Davis has put as his target?
I think Shamar Brooks being the X factor, if he's there, they're in with a chance.
Nush Kenjige with ball in hand again. Very precise with his field settings. Just moved the mid-wicket fielder 2 yards to his left. Played down the ground for a single. So, when you played, you were a batter, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I was a batter.
You're batting in this situation.
Yep.
You are Shamar Brooks. What is your approach given the situation? What are you trying to accomplish? Filthy delivery. Answer that in a while. But it's taken. I'll tell you what. That ball had no business producing a wicket. That ball landed halfway down. Nash Kenjige is a brilliant bowler. That was not one of his best, but he'll take the wicket none the same.
Dexter Sweeney won't leave the crease. He still can't believe it. Hurricanes from the left, hurricanes from the right. It caught up in the wind. And here's the fielder. He couldn't believe it himself. Holds on. And another wicket. So the procession continues, Brian. And you asked what I would do. Keep the ball on the ground. You'll have a better chance fighting with the thick outfield than hitting it up in the swirling wind. Understanding the wind is coming from the northwest.
Exactly.
And the ball went right up into that trough. And boy, what turned into be a mandatory 6 turned into be a catch in the deep.
Off the bat, given Dexter Sweeney's size,
He couldn't believe it.
Said,
He couldn't believe it, yeah.
And I dare say Nush Kenjige himself would have thought that would have gone for 6. Look at his reaction.
His head is still shaking.
He's walking into the relative safety of the pavilion, but my goodness, that should have been 6. That had 6 written all over it. And on a day where the wind is not coming in from the northwest at 15, 20 miles an hour, I think that goes for 6. Boy. Well, the new batter in is Junaid Siddiqui. And once again, Shamar Brooks, it may be all up to you at this stage. A lot of work to do. And you're running out of time.
4 deliveries left in this over. Siddiqui now seeing his first delivery. The fielding team generally is out Needs to pick up a single and get Brooks back on strike.
Well, it's
There you go.
actually still Siddiqui is still on strike, or Siddiqui on strike. Now Brooks will be chomping at the bit looking for singles, and you know that the Raiders Unlimited know that, so they're looking to stop those singles. Again, knowing what they want to do, Nash Kenjiga keeping that ball right outside the line of off. He's determined to not concede a single here because he knows that Brooks wants to be on strike, but he's wanting to deny him that strike. 2 balls remaining here in the air. That is going to produce a single. Brooks only now has 1 delivery remaining to face in this, the 11th over. What does he do with that 1 ball?
I think I believe you try to get that single and give yourself a chance to face the next over and try to take advantage of those deliveries in the next over. Obviously, if the ball is there to hit, go for it.
Yep.
If not, the single has to be on for Brooks.
Let's just say this is not going to be a dot ball. And that's exactly, you called for it. You got what you asked for. Now, here is where the next over is going to take so much significance. Over number 12 coming up. See what Brooks does when he gets back on strike. 75 for 7. Make that 76 for 7. Captain has brought himself back on to bowl his last over. Remember, this is a 15-over match, so bowlers are limited to 1/5 the number of overs to be bowled in the innings. Calvin Savage, 2 overs, 2 for 16. Bowling now to Brooks. Wide, you take that gift. Savage starts with 1 too far outside the line of off for the liking of the umpire.
I can understand why he brought himself back on. Do not wait till the latter part, which is the next 2 or 3 overs, to apply the pressure. Apply the pressure right now. If he can get a wicket in this over, that'll be 8 down. You're down to the tail. At that point, the innings is slowly collapsing. And don't forget, Brooks now is facing, and he wants to get 5 balls at Brooks.
I'll tell you what, Brooks may have just, or Savage may have just missed his length there. That was a ball that Brooks, I think, ordinarily can get under. He mishit it a little bit, but I think exactly what Calvin Savage was trying to do wasn't exactly pulled off the way he wanted it to.
Well, pressure affects everyone, and Brooks is no stranger. He's been seeing wickets fall all around him. Runs are hard to get by, so he's just keeping his shape, playing in the V. Picks up the singles wherever he could. He has to stay out there to give his team any sort of chance. Not taking any chances.
So again, bearing in mind, this is the 12th over, but more importantly, overs 12 and 14 are the last 2 in this match, in this innings, to be bowled from the southern end of the ground, where if the batters elevate the ball, they'll be helped by the wind. That's another element, I think, why Savage brought himself back on here. Look at this! Full straight gone, middle stump disturbed, furniture rearranged, any way you want to put it. 76 for 8. 78 for 8.
Captain read the game perfectly, bringing himself back on. Put the pressure on the batting team right now, not 2 overs from now. And he bowls stump to stump cricket, as we call this. Batter has to do something out of the ordinary, beats the bat, back to the pavilion.
Oh my goodness. Savage, again, you're exactly right. Reading the game perfectly well, knowing when to bring himself on. You know, cricket is such a mental game. So much analysis has to take place to know the strategics or the tactics to accomplish a certain strategy. And this is exactly why Calvin Savage is a great cricketer, knowing the situation, exactly when he needs to bring himself back on, and finds that success.
I think when Brooks got that single as well, it fueled maybe how about I have a go at Brooks, maybe tie him down, or if he gets a single, I get a chance at the new batter, which is exactly what he did. Brooks got the single of a good delivery, and then it allows Savage to go to work on the new batter.
Oh, this is such good. Score is 78 for 8. as Gajanan Singh just got a bonus.
He wanted to join the competition. He had to go.
He did for a split second, didn't he?
He had to send him back onto the field.
So Saurabh Netravalkar, if I told you Saurabh Netravalkar would be starring in the 13th over, the 12th over, you would think it was with the ball. Unfortunately for him, he's no more for his exploits with the ball than with the bat. Coming in at number 10, facing up to Calvin Savage. Full and straight, that ball played a little bit in the air. My goodness, they're both at the same end. And look at this, 78 for 9. Hamza Tariq bringing some levity to the situation. I guarantee you that neither Brooks nor Netravalkar is laughing.
Well, Savage almost killed his keeper with the throw. The keeper can't believe it. He's staring on Savage, like looking at his captain, like, what were you thinking? But he still manages to collect it and get the batter out.
Well,
so a comedy of
errors.
They're
both at the same end.
Comedy of errors. But the wicketkeeper had a lot of work to do. He has to be. Look at Savage throw it like it was the last ball of in the game's play. The keeper gathers, and of course having a bit of games. So the onslaught continues in Rydell, Georgia.
Okay, we're laughing. I guarantee you nobody with an Atlanta Lightning shirt is laughing right now. An absolute disaster. Comedy of errors, I think, summarizes it perfectly. Calvin Savage fired that ball like he was Nolan Ryan at 98 miles an hour when he could easily have reached out to touch either one of them. He could have jogged to the other end and effected the run out himself.
Could have been 4 overthrows so easily, and the keeper looked at him like he just saw a ghost when he collected it, looking at his captain.
They are absolutely not going to want to go back home and watch this. And now the last pair is in. Fanny Simadri, who again is a brilliant, brilliant bowler, but would prefer to be featuring with the ball than with the bat here in the 12th over. Outside the line of off. He allows it to go through. Now do you consider farming the strike if you are...
I think 95 runs is a heck of a total right now.
No, I'll say this. You can't farm the strike unless you get back on strike. So
Correct. Now he's just a viewer like you and me. Shamar Brooks. He's enjoying the game, hands on hips. Look at him.
Oh, my. So 2 balls remaining here in over number 12. Lets it go by outside the line of off.
Now, I've seen Courtney Walsh bat a couple of times. We're getting the opportunity to see Simadri. And it's spectacular. The leave alone in itself is something you want to see on replay.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's take another look at this. Ball outside off stump. Oh, this is the throw that almost killed the keeper. Keeper gathers. Still looking at his captain. And he takes the bail off.
I am going to want to watch that later myself. I will probably watch that 5 more times. Last ball over number 12. What a great Yorker. They go for a single. I never would have thought they'd have taken the single there, but they will take the single, which means that Fanny Simadri will be on strike.
You get him some popcorn and a drink, Shamar Brooks.
We may need to do exactly that. 7-9 for 9 after 12. Okay. 18. Make that. Yeah, 18 balls remaining. Overs 13 through 15. But more importantly, one more wicket closes out the innings for the Atlanta Lightning. Fanny Madri, the absolutely brilliant left arm medium pacer, is on strike. Shamar Brooks is spectating, has been now for a while from the other end. Here's Akhilesh Bodugam looking to play this through the offside. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 men inside the circle. I would have thought that they'd have brought in another 1 or 2 because you have to stop the single here if you're the Raiders Unlimited. Here's Bodugam again. Instant replay that time. 2 more dot balls.
Well, he's sticking to his plan, whether it's number 4 or number 10. Just on or top of off by the big off spinner.
No run
like you
there.
said, Brian, Shamadri is going to have to find a way to get that ball past point, as that ball is going to be stuck on or about off stump. And it's a game of cat and mouse right now, as they do not want to get Shamar Brooks on strike.
Oh, driven over the top of Brooks himself. My apologies, of Bodugam himself. So they'll get the single that they were looking for, but they used up a bunch of dot balls to get there. You said 95 might actually be a decent score from here.
Who said 125? I have no idea who mentioned that before. That person is crazy. Get him out of here. So Shamar Brooks, we're looking at the cover for him now. The fielding team is now on their toes. Deep backward square, deep wicket, long on, protection on the onside, sweeper, long off on the off.
Interesting. They take a single here, and I think I know why they did that. That leaves Brooks on the non-striker's end, but all that Fanny Madri needs to do is just not get out for this next ball, and it means that Brooks will be hitting with the wind to start the next over. And Calvin Savage is done.
Well said, Brian.
But that plan means that Fanny Madri needs to not get out right now.
It all works until then, right?
It all works until Fanny Madri gets his stumps rearranged. Ooh. Despite his best efforts, he remains at the crease. 81 for 9. We'll be right back. Ryan Davis. By the way, my mother's maiden name was Davis, so we're like relatives or something. You're the white sheep of the family.
The cousin I never met. You white sheep of the family.
I'm sure. So Rochelle Ugarker with ball in hand, 2 overs bowled, 1 for 20. This next over that he's going to bowl, you know that Shamar Brooks is going to want to attack him. So pay attention to what happens in this over. And as you said, Ryan, he's bowling those wide Yorkers, has been doing it for his entire spell. What does Shamar Brooks do here to sort of offset the effectiveness?
Starting with batting outside of the crease, about a half a foot, and then you have to advance.
That is exactly the plan. He sticks to his plan. I have never seen a young bowler so able to stick to a clearly established plan.
And to repeat something over and over. Think of golf, think of any other sport. That means your technique has to be impeccable to deliver that ball on one spot time and time again.
Absolutely right. Now,
the conversation in mid-wicket here. I would love to be a fly on the wall. I think Samadri is giving Brooks a word of advice.
Let me tell you exactly how you need to approach this next ball. He says to the former West Indies middle order batter, full, driven down the ground. Do they look for two? They would have
Have
to
to
look
look
for
for two.
two, would they not? Oh
Oh
no, an
no, Samadri.
absolute comedy of errors. But they threw to the wrong end. Had the throw gone to the. I'm so sorry. Had the throw gone to.
Brian, are you laughing because it reminds you of one of the under 14 games you played in when you were back in high school?
He was lying flat on his stomach in the middle of the pit.
And he still made it.
And he
That's the
still-
power of Samadri.
He still the replay. You
That's what Samadri can bring to
may
you
have to
at
keep
the
talking
wicket.
for a while
At the wicket.
so I can contain myself.
with the ball off of the with try to conjure up a score past 80 and the
Forgive me. I have tears running down my eyes. You can verify it to anyone who cannot see me. I have tears running down my eyes. Let me gather myself. In the meantime, an excellent over underway here by Ushila Garker. Outside the line of off. Again, the commentator's curse strikes again.
only means the episode lasts just a little bit longer. Brian.
Oh my goodness.
Shamar Brooks, roughly our scorers, he has just about 4 deliveries to play with.
Yep.
At this point, it's love me or leave me.
Yes.
He has to go over the top and try to get under one, Brian.
Great bowling, another great delivery. And they this time settle for 1. So 2 deliveries remaining here in over number 14. Now, is there any part of you, if you're currently at the non-strikers end, is there any part of you that wants to look for a single here to face the last ball so you can hit with the wind one last
I
time?
think I'll be backing up the batter even before the bowler leaves his mark to start running up. I'll be backing up to get the single. Yes, Shamar Brooks has to get back on strike for at least another delivery.
I cannot emphasize how good an over this is. It is, everything is bang on target as we almost feel like there's a mini tornado blowing at the moment.
Dexter Sween, that question about tornadoes. What was a sitting 6 ended up in mid-wicket's lap.
Oh. Great bowling again. Sliced away into the
Was that
deep.
a square drive by the great Samadri?
Was a square drive.
Something that Richie Richardson, we've seen in that career, will be proud of.
Oh my goodness. So last ball now in over number 14. Vanessa Madri playing his part. It has to be said. 3 from 9. But what does Brooks do with this last delivery? Rashilu Garkar bowling so well. 2.5.
Action by Udugarkar, stopping his run up halfway through.
Sure.
Brooks think about it just a little bit longer. But you know what's coming? Yorker outside off stop. You can put the D to your house to it.
Same delivery that he's bowled every single delivery this spell. Again, he does it. The same ball to absolute
Someone give this man a contract because
brutal effectiveness.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Great bowling by Ursula Garker. 87 for 9. Welcome back to the Brian and Ryan Show, otherwise known as the Atlanta Lightning against Raiders Unlimited. 87 for 9. Last 6 balls. Brooks is on strike and the bowler is Pankaj Rao. His figure so far 2 overs, 1 for 10. Bowling now to Shamar Brooks, who has to get the ball away. In the air, catchable, and gone. That is the end of the innings. And I'll tell you what, Brooks got one. It has to be said that was a ball he could score off of, but he pulled it exactly to the one man in the deep on the leg side. 87 all out.
Yep, dropped one short. He had to try to score off of it. Understand the wind is coming from that direction. It held up, easy catch in the end. But what a performance by the fielding side. Raiders Unlimited definitely on top, and they have not even taken the pieces yet. Now they can manage the game, Brian, at 88, 87 all out.
Now, just looking through the scorecard, there's some big names here with low numbers next to their names. Lahira Melantha and Unmuk Chan both go without scoring. Shamar Brooks batted really well, but in the end didn't have enough support from the other end. 41 from 38. Patel 7, Raymond Reefer 6, Jesse Bhutan 11, Ravendra Prasad 5, Dexter Sween 4, Junaid Siddiqui 1, Subnet Travalka not, Fantasy Madra 3. All of those numbers added up to, I think, a pretty shambolic performance with the bat.
It is. You're absolutely right, Brian. But you and I have to emphasize the conditions aren't easy out here.
No.
To bat in, the ball is swirling around in the air. The outfield is so thick that you have to run all of your runs. But that being said, it is 87 runs on the board, but it allows the batting team now to take their full 15 overs and try to get the total. No hurry to try and score those runs. So it's all for the Raiders to lose right now. And now the Atlanta Lightning have to play this match as though ball number 1, every single delivery has to be with purpose.
Just a real quick look at the bowlers. Calvin Savage bowled very well. Economy rate of 6.3. It doesn't emphasize how well he bowled, and he did take 3 wickets. 2 wickets apiece for Pankaj Rao and Nosh Kenjige. 1 apiece for Akhilesh Bodagam and Roshilo Garkar, who only took 1 wicket but bowled to his exact plan. Excellent bowling by the youngster.
We lost count of the amount of Yorkers outside the line of off stump. It was incredible to watch this young medium pacer hit his straps every single delivery. It was something special to watch, and that played a part in batters doing something out of the ordinary to trying to get runs, and that added to the wickets falling.
Well, short break coming up, about a 10-minute break or so, I would imagine. And the Atlanta Lightning, again, with runs on the board, but I think they would have preferred to have had about another 30 or so. Raiders Unlimited coming up for a chase. See you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back to the Parambear Sports Complex in Cartersville, Georgia. Chase, where the Raiders Unlimited will be looking to overhaul a total of 88 runs. Openers are Akarshit Gomel and Nitish Kumar. Akarshit Gomel on strike. Opening bowler is Saurabh Netravalkar, who featured at the wickets a couple of overs ago. He'd prefer to be featuring with ball in hand. Joined again. Okay, so we're looking at probably another relatively tight chase. The required rate is 5.87. You can win by scoring less than a run a ball. And first delivery was a dot, so another 89 runs in which to score 88 balls. Joined here again by Ryan Davis. Ryan, a decent chase, a run a ball wins it from here. What are your options as a bowling side?
Bowling side, you have to try and get wickets. Defending the 87 runs is going to be highly improbable in those 15 overs. In order to get wickets, you have to be aggressive with your field, and the bowler itself cannot be looking just to bowl stock balls or dot balls. Have to bowl out deliveries in the early part of the innings. Have the batter under pressure as the innings builds.
Note also that they started from the northern end of the ground. We're playing a 15-over match, an odd number of overs. So the last over, in theory, if it goes that far, players will be hitting into the wind. It's just the one thing that you cannot do if you're looking to defend a small total is have any misfields. And that ball really should have been a dot ball, but misfielded at cover and they get 2 runs.
You said it, Brian. Every bit of fielding, every run, needless to say, every run counts. But the desperation has to be there. The attitude has to be there as you take the field. It has to be on everyone's faces, in their demeanors.
Netravalkar bang on target. He's a very, very good bowler. One of the more senior bowlers in the USA cricket bowling lineup for a number of years now. Led the USA team as captain for a number of years. But now able to just land that ball in the proverbial dinner plate outside the line of off. And really excellent, excellent bowler.
And I love that delivery. It did show intent to try and get a wicket, not just try to get a dot ball. And again, that has to be the attitude, especially with your strike bowler. He has to lead the pack.
So up against a wily pair here, though, Nitish Kumar and Akarshit Gomel, each of them leading their respective teams in batting. Say more about that shortly. Played into the offside. That should just be a dot. So 1 ball remaining now in over number 1. Akarshit Gomel is a leading batter for the Dallas Exforia Giants in the recently completed minor league season. Nitish Kumar is the leading batter for the Lone Star Athletics in the same division, the Central Division of the minor league season. So they're both very explosive, both strike it at around 140 strike rate. Don't need to do that today, though.
No, have to manage this game. They understand their wicket is more important than just gathering the runs at the moment.
That's exactly right. So last ball of over number 1, looking to advance down the track. Not necessary. I would not think that's necessary.
And give credit to the bowler. He's bowling the type of deliveries that are asking the questions of the batter. And if the batter wants to do something out of the ordinary, go for it.
End of over number 1, 3 without loss. So 1 over bowled, 3 without loss, and Dexter Sween after getting a delivery that I think he would have preferred to have knocked over the fence at mid-wicket, only to have been caught. Didn't do it with the bat today, but the good thing about being an all-rounder is that you get the option to do it with either bat or ball. And when you fail in one discipline, it is usually the case that you go 100% more in the effort to, let's say, compensate with the other discipline. So he has the ball in hand, bowling now to Nitish Kumar. Looks to work it down the leg side. Thuds into the pad and they'll get a leg by. So you don't care how these singles come, and you can do it in singles. You don't care how they come.
Doesn't have to be pretty today for the Raiders. They know the target, they know the time, and the amount of deliveries they have. The boundaries will come, Brian. At the moment, you just don't want to lose any wickets. You want to get on top by salvaging wickets.
Now, bear in mind this is an elimination type match. And so there is such a thing as scoreboard pressure. Scoreboard pressure would certainly have applied if they were chasing 125. It still does apply to a lesser extent with them chasing 87, make that 88. A good delivery here by Dexter Sween. So 2 deliveries, nothing off the bat yet, and just 1 run from the over so far.
So, Brian, the English didn't only leave us with cricket. They left us with tea.
Tea.
So right now it's 4:30. It's tea time throughout the planet.
Time.
So I'm pouring myself a cup of coffee. Sorry, England. We're going to go coffee instead of tea. Brian just got his coffee. So
in the air toward mid-wicket. Does it have the legs to get there? No, it does not. Fielder coming around from the deep, or in the deep, but 2 more runs, and once again, you can do it in doubles and singles if you'd like. 2 runs to the total.
It's going to be more of the same, Brian. The chances are going to be few and far between, and the chances that are going to come about, understand Atlanta is going to be the ones that are going to have to conjure and create those chances. The Raiders are going to just be textbook, especially in these opening overs. These 2 openers have a job to do, anchor the innings, so allow the middle order to come in, if they do come in, and bat freely.
In the slot and drilled. Wow. Goes all the way for 6. That's not the type of delivery that you want to bowl to take wickets. I understand if you're looking to attack the stumps, but if you're doing that, it has to be in the block hole.
A half volley on your leg stump. I think when you die and go to heaven, you'll get 6 deliveries, a half volleys on leg stump. That'll be your prize for making it to heaven. And Sweeney is obliging.
Yeah. Nitish Kumar, again, a very aggressive hitter. That just helps him to get going. Slices this one away into the deep. Should just be a single to deep third, though. More of along the lines of what you're looking for. If you're trying to do, again, you have to take wickets. Full outside the line of off with a fielder, deep third, that's not a bad option.
Not at all. That's called bowling to a plan, and you want to see more of that throughout this innings. And it's going to be up to Sweeney, the bowler, to dictate that. He has to bowl to his field. He has to put pressure on the batter.
Very optimistic LBW shout as that's bouncing probably. I think that hit him on the thigh pad. And in fact, no indication from the umpire. So it obviously came off of the edge onto the thigh pad. Either way, they don't care how the runs come as long as they come single to close things out in over number 2 for a team without loss. Karshik Gomel is on strike. 2 from 4 so far. And he's facing up to the former Captain America, Saurabh Netravalkar. In the air, through the extra cover area with the thick outfield that may not make it to the boundary, and in fact it does not. But again, when you're only chasing 88 runs.
That was risky, Brian. No reason for it. Keep your head over the ball and punch the ball, whether you just get 1 or none. The wicket is more important than a run. No wicket is worth a run, as they say. And
Now let me ask you this: what you just said makes sense in a vacuum.
Sure.
How much of it might come down to you not wanting to change your natural game?
Correct. And because T20 is just so rampant in this day and age, a lot of these players are only T20 players. If you played multiple formats of the game,
Yep.
you would be able to adjust your style and manage the game as fit. But
Correct.
these players don't get the opportunity to play, whether it's a 4-day game, 2-day game, or a 50-over game, to have more management of the game.
Now, again, what you just said is accurate. Knowing a little bit about Akarshit Gomel, he played first-class cricket in India, so he would have played, I would assume, multiple formats of the game. But he's just a naturally aggressive batter, and so somebody...
Well, then I can't help you. If you get caught at cover and you only have 87 runs to run, it's between you and your batting coach after that.
And now look, notice exactly where that ball went. There's now a fielder stationed at that position at extra cover.
Just going to talk some cricket science here. I could understand why there was no extra cover. This wicket, the ball is not coming onto the bat. So if anyone tries to play through the line of the ball,
Yep.
it will go just a little bit more squarer. So you would expect that to end up in cover's hand. But somehow the ball did come onto the bat in that instance. It went through the extra cover. So I understand why they're adjusting the field. May not be necessary.
See, when you have the rugged, handsome, good looks of a movie star and can bring analysis like that, that is the reason why we have you around, Mr. Davis. This is played into the
Brian,
outside
I grew
for
up in a
single.
test cricketing home with my father and my uncle playing test cricket. If I didn't know that fact, I wouldn't be able to eat for a week.
Actually, so for those of us who do not know your father and your uncle, which admittedly does include me, talk about that.
So Charlie Davis, Brian Davis, you look at the Mark 1 Steve O combination. They are one of the few brothers that played cricket for the internationally. So both of them played for the West Indies between the 69-73 period. So I'll give you a lot more stories as this innings goes on. I guarantee you it's going to bring it all off.
And like I said, my mother's maiden name was Davis. So
you are a Davis. You are a Davis.
I am an
You're a
absolute
Davis.
Davis.
Well, your laughter is very Davis-like, so you're going to fit right in.
Played into the outfield for a single. So just one ball remaining in over number 3. Once again, you're needing to score at the rate of, from now, 5.75 and over. And you're already scoring at 6.35 and over. So you have the chase well under control. Early days yet, but yes, the chase is under control. And to the extent that all you have to do is just keep picking up singles, it would seem that the job will be easy from here. No run off this last ball. So that should be, in fact, that is a dot ball to close things out in over number 3. 18 without loss. Okay, so Fani Simadri, talked about him earlier. Brilliant left arm medium pacer. Usually bowls in the middle overs out of the power play. Now going to be asked to bowl inside the power play.
I heard he got a couple of wickets in minor league in past.
One or two.
One or two.
One or two.
But again, this is the time. There is no time. There is no tomorrow, as they say. This is the opportunity for the Atlanta team to try to use all their strike bowlers to
Yes.
get wickets.
Yes.
Forget the runs. You need 10 wickets.
Fani Simadri left arm over. Slash and a miss. So he is a very clever bowler. He knows the right lines, the right lengths, and just has a knack for picking up wickets. I absolutely agree with you. No reason to hold back your best wicket-taking bowler. Now, the caveat would be he typically bowls outside of the power play. Let's see how well he does inside the power play. Quick single to Raymond Reefer, and they'll get a single here.
Well, good delivery, stock ball, right up to the batter. Got the toe of the bat, but didn't produce a wicket. Another single to the total, and right now the Raiders just have to go according to plan. They are in no rush. They're not under pressure. These two opening batters have a responsibility to the middle order to see through the opening overs and put the pressure firmly on the fielding team.
In the air. May not have the legs to get to the boundary in the thick outfield. And that is a great piece of work by Unmukt Chand. Excellent. Who pulls it back. They'll run 3. But the psychological impact of preventing the boundary, I think, has to be spoken for.
Pitched up again, playing through the line of the ball. And if you're going to bowl a half volley, you're going to ask for that. Well, what about the fielding, like you mentioned, Brian? Saves the one, and the batters now have to run all of their runs and now catch their breath for the next delivery.
Exactly.
I'm catching my breath just watching him run after the ball.
Interestingly, Unmukt Chand, the captain, in previous matches was keeping wicket. Now chooses to be in the field. Slow delivery, but it's drilled deep, far, and gone. I believe that went all the way for 6. And I don't think that landed exactly where Fani Samaja wanted it to.
No, he didn't want a half volley on the pads again. Half volley on the pads. Think of it as a rat trap. As soon as you bowl in that direction, the bat is going to come down quickly and hard. And exactly, you get the result, a maximum. So Sumadri has to adjust that line and length quickly before these opening batters continue to get on top.
Now remember what I said, he usually bowls outside of the power play. Looked so far that he's a different bowler when he's bowling inside the power play. Looks to work this one away. That is bouncing well over the top. That would have bounced maybe a foot over the top of the stumps. But what you see happen sometimes is that you beg for a wicket. Just, you take it from there. You tell me what you just saw.
Absolute emotion from the bowler. Please give me something. But umpire, thankfully, thought better of it. And looks like we have a batter down. May have hit him as high. There we say the plums, Bran.
Well, somebody was hit this morning. Let's call it middle stump.
Okay.
He's drilled in the middle stump. He was down for a good solid 7-8 minutes. Everybody else is laughing.
I bet if you gave him an option to hit the actual middle stump, he'd have chosen that.
He would have taken that
please. Let me go inside. Yeah.
Anyway, so 1 ball remaining, and Fani Samaja has some time now to think about what he wants to do with this last delivery. Been expensive so far in this over, 10 from it. In fact, that might give us some time for you to get into one of your stories.
Absolutely. My father's batting in Lords for the first time. West Indies versus England, 1969. And he's batting with Sir Garfield Sobers, the captain.
I heard of that guy.
Yes, he knew a thing about cricket. And Gary Sobers was just very eager player out on the pitch, whether bowling, batting, or running between the wickets. My father just came in. He was now trying to settle in, and he pushed the ball to cover, and Gary Sobers took off down the wicket, called for the run. My father said no. Charlie Davis.
He
Gary
said no.
still kept coming. My father still said no. To the point where Charlie Davis turned his back on Gary Sobers in Lords.
Ooh.
And Gary Sobers was run out.
Ooh.
My father then went on to score 106 in Lords, and he said the only reason he scored that 106 was because he was scared to go back into the pavilion to see Gary Sobers eye to eye. That was enough motivation to get 100 at Lords.
I would imagine. Last ball. Skied in the air. No one in the deep over. Wide of long off. And it goes away for 4 more. So unfortunately for Fani Samaja and the Atlanta Lightning, this over did not go according to plan. 14 runs come from it.
Here's that replay again, right into the wheelhouse. If you overpitch in this level of cricket, he gave himself some room, Brian.
Yep.
And hit it over cover, inside out shot, we call that. and taking advantage of no fielders in that area.
32 runs are the score. 4 overs gone. Another 56 needed in 11. We'll be right back. "32 without loss." So Ryan, you were saying there was more to that story.
So here I am playing an under 16 match, and I'm batting with my captain.
All right.
And my under 16 running between the wickets is theatrical, as you know. So my captain called for a single. It was never on.
Okay.
And I took off and I got run out and I walked back at the pavilion, and my father couldn't understand, why would you possibly take that run?
Yeah.
He said, "Dad," I said, "Dad, it was my captain. I didn't run him out." Tears of fury welled up in my father's eyes, and he said, "Son, I ran out Gary Sobers in Lords against England. You could run this guy out. That run was never on." So that was part 2 to the story. Give some context.
Outstanding. So new bowler. This is Ravendra Prasad, and immediately pulled away to deep mid wicket for a couple, and the runs are coming at essentially a torrential rate in the context of this game. Just another 54 needed from the next 65 balls. Karshit Gomel 8 from 10, make that 10 from 11. And this one is played into the extra cover area. Should be a couple more. In fact, they're jogging the second run. It's coming all too easy now, Ryan.
Love the idea by Prasad. Dropping it in short. We talked about this. We hammered this point in the first innings. You want the spinner to drop it short, have the batter score off the back foot. But just no runs to play with Brian. There's no fault of the bowler. He's sticking to a plan.
Yep.
There's only so much he can do.
So you're down now to the last 52 runs needed from 64 balls. The actual required rate is now under 5. You need 4.8 runs and over the rest of the way. Good delivery. That's what the left armer is trying to do from around the wickets.
Quicker, zippier. The other ones were a little bit shorter. This one was short of a length, which is the perfect length for any bowler, and squared up the batter.
Short, hammered in the air. Reefer choosing to stay back and feel that one on the bounce. Does Reefer's captain want him to go hell for leather and come in with the full dive there?
Well said, Brian. The fact is, the only chance they're going to have is if they get a wicket. There's no reason for Reefer to be protecting anything out there. Has to be a little bit more aggressive out in the field. All the fielders, not just Reefer. He has to set the tone when the ball comes your way.
In the air over extra cover, and that's going to be 4. Slammed away. Nitish Kumar does not need an invitation to play that shot, and a boundary over extra cover.
Well, just opening the face of the bat, almost like a square drive, turned into a cover drive. Gave himself some room, pulled away again, understanding what the bowler wants to do. Expert batting by Kumar. Creating something out of nothing.
Creating something out of nothing. Nitish Kumar, very experienced cricketer. Oh my goodness, the commentator's curse does it again. Plays completely across.
Where's Kumar? He was just here a minute ago. He was just here the ball before. Where did he go?
So
we saw a brilliant inside-out cover drive to get a 4, and then we saw some sort of slug completely played over it, bowled down.
Played over and around, a pretty straight ball. It has to be said, a pretty innocuous delivery too. Not necessarily a wicket-taking delivery. By definition, any ball that takes a wicket is a wicket-taking delivery.
We're going to chalk it up for Kumar being a team player. He wants some other guys to come in, get a knock, because they have a big semi-final net tomorrow. Let's leave it up to that.
You know what? That may just be the case. 41
we'll
for
go
1.
with it.
So 1 wicket down. You're almost halfway there in terms of the number of runs needed. 41 for one. You need another 47 balls, another 47 runs, my apologies, from the next 60 balls. So now you've turned to your senior medium pacer, Raymond Reefer. Reefer from the island of Barbados. Left arm pacer, so that will be the third left arm pacer we've seen in action today.
Is there something in the soil of Barbados that creates cricketers? For that little island to generate so many cricketers is incredible.
166 square miles. And I'll tell you that I can give you a Barbados 11 that
Absolutely.
will beat any other team in the world.
Absolutely. And I'll back you up 100%. You can start off with the greatest fast bowler to ever walk the earth in Malcolm Marshall. The best probably one-day bowler in Joel Garner. The stingiest of them all, right? And then you have Gordon Greenidge and Desmond Haynes, the most lethal opening pair in the history of cricket.
You know what? And I completely forgot about this. What we had been doing in previous days is going to the YouTube chat section
Okay.
and initiating conversations. That feels like a conversation that we need to initiate on YouTube. Because the question I'm going to ask now, as Reefer continues here, Karshik Gomel is at the non-striker's end, and it is batter on strike is Sujit Gowda, also a member of the Dallas Mustangs who won the championship this past weekend. I think the question I'm going to ask on YouTube is, what 11 can you give me from a specific country that could beat an all-time Barbados 11? And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you have any thoughts there, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Please tell the English they're not allowed to include Jack Hobbs and Sir Len Hutton, please. And W.G. Grace. That's just not included anymore.
No,
Yeah.
not included. In fact, there may be like 7 people who are actual. Let me stop. You know what? I'll say I just pull that back. I let that one go through to the keeper. so
Anything post World War II, please.
Oh, I see a question here from Raj. Raj, I'll get back to that in a second, as this is powered down to mid-wicket. Just a single. And I'll leave this one for you to answer here, Ryan. Raj wants to know, as a captain, where would you put a guy who can't catch or field? Deep third. Saw Sachin Malavarappu drop a sitter at third man today. What are your thoughts?
Deep fine leg.
Deep fine leg.
Deep fine leg. He's going to have to come across and feel the ball. He's probably not going to take a lot of catches down there.
All right. In the meantime, 2 delivers make that. Yeah, 2 delivers remaining here in over number 6. Reefer. Oh, almost chopped that one on. It's good delivery. Quicker than he usually bowls. Sujit Gowda barely able to get bat on it.
Reefer's coming up the hill from the southern end. But being the professional that he is going to make the most of these conditions. He's bowling into the wind.
So 1 ball remaining here in over number 6. Reefer running into the wind, which is never easy. Switching and going around the wicket to bowl to Sujit Gowda. Does he go in and does he target leg stump? What is the thinking about going behind or going around the wicket here?
Just a change of angle. Have the batter think twice. It's going to slow boundaries, that's for sure. And coming around the wicket against the right-hander opens up the LBW discussion. You can bring that ball just outside off, coming into the right-hander.
So that is the end of over number 6. A relatively quiet over as compared to the ones before it, but still 4 runs come from the over. And now you're more than halfway there to the target. 43 runs needed in the next 54 balls. So 4-3 for one. Ravindra Prasad, who's bowled 1 over so far, and he has taken a wicket. So he has, you don't necessarily want to concede 9 runs and over. 9 runs and over from here loses you the game, but you want wickets, and he's giving you that already. I'll tell you what, that was potentially a wicket-taking ball, but just played into the offside for no run.
And Brian, you
Or a
said
single.
it was a wicket-taking ball. He gave it some air, gave it some flight. He didn't bowl flat looking for a dot ball. He was inviting the batsman to go after it. This wicket is getting some turn. So you have the drift, have the batter go after the ball, and then have the ball leave the right-hander.
Off the back foot, reefer down it, long on does the rest. Doing it in ones. You need wickets. You need wickets. How do you manufacture wickets? First of all, do you not want to slip for the lefty?
Absolutely. I think, like we talked about, not playing well after this delivery. Again, that is the delivery you want to bowl. If you want to take wickets, you have to put it up there, give it some flight, and then you bowl the quicker ball. That will be the out delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to keep asking the question to the batter. Come and meet me halfway. Try to score off of it.
And especially from the northern end where you don't want the batter to be hitting the ball in the air. Smart batting here from Akashi Gomel though. 16 from 17 before that. Make that 17 from 18. And 4 deliveries in this over so far have yielded 4 singles.
So we talked about what does the bowler have to do to get wickets. But the batting team understands that. And so far they're picking up the singles because that's all they need.
You said the out delivery was going to be the quicker one. That is what you just saw. Take us through what you just saw, Ryan.
Was on the other end, seeing the ball being flighted a couple of times. He gets on strike, and the left-arm orthodox bowler zips one in, rocks back on the back foot. It wasn't short enough, Brian, and he gets caught in 2 minds. Beautiful bit of bowling.
This is spectacular. So you need wickets. You absolutely need wickets. And 4 deliveries are just pushed around for singles, and then you get the quicker one, and that's the one that catches him on the back foot. Again, rearranging the furniture. So the second wicket is down. You're only 39 more runs needed, but you don't get to 10 wickets without taking 2. You've already gotten 2.
Correct. Understand this is a new batter now, and the bowler has an opportunity to go to work. Cannot let the pressure off of the new batter. It is crucial that bowlers on either end understand the situation where the new batter is in play, and every ball has to be with purpose. No half volleys on the pads, Brian.
Now, importantly, Gajanan Singh, who is now your new batter, is a left-handed batter. His position is now crucial because the longer he is at the wicket, then the less effective the left-arm spin of Ravindra Prasad is. And again, bear in mind, with 3 other left-arm pacers in the wicket or in the match, the lefty being at the wicket takes on that much more significance.
Well, that's why they switched them up, right? Righties and lefties. Give it credit to the batting coach, understanding the situation. And Singh has an opportunity. Now, try to understand this too, Brian. This Raiders team, understanding what the game, where the game is going. These batters out in the wicket have to start thinking just a little bit about tomorrow's match. Start playing yourself in. Start getting yourself in nick. Getting used to being out in the middle. And
so say more about that in a second. 50 comes up, 50 for 2. So 50 for 2, Ray for the ball in hand. To the left, Gajanan Singh. Finish your thoughts about
we look at the straight bat. We look at the textbook single to the onside. It looks like a batter now starting to play himself 6 hours in the nets compared to 25 minutes minutes in the middle is exactly the same thing. So these batters getting 25 minutes out in the middle, playing in a game situation, is more effective than those 6 hours in the nets, having bowlers just running like robots and bowl to you. So these batters maybe start thinking tomorrow, semi-final, first thing in the morning, let a view. The batters are starting to think, I can play myself into some sort of rhythm, some sort of form here. To have one iron tomorrow with only 38 runs left.
Very interesting thought. I would not have thought about that, and I'm glad you brought it up because it makes perfect sense. Quick delivery, pulled into the deep though. Brooks down the long on. Carmel has a very quick bat speed, is extremely fast.
Thank you for seeing that. He pulled that ball to mid-on.
Yeah.
That's how he got around. The main see guys pulling the ball through mid-wicket or backward a square. That was the mid.
And Singh joining the fun, elevates over the top, one bounce for 4.
Understanding that there was a regular mid-off it and plays it safely into the zone boundary. Expert batting. Here's that replay again. Pitching up into that wheelhouse. Comes down the track, Brian. Gets under it. Again, safe as can be. No one is there. As the old saying goes, hit them where nobody is there. That's the best advice you give a youngster.
Or I said, hit them where they ain't.
Correct.
Short, pulled around the corner for 4 more. Didn't go as cleanly as Gajanan Singh wanted. Wanted to hit it more square. Gets the top edge, but with fine leg inside the circle, 4 more.
But chipping down in the last delivery dictates what the bowler is going to do this delivery. And the batter now understands he's going to anticipate, he's going to bang it in short so he doesn't pitch it up again. Gets back on the back foot, turns on it, 4 more.
Expert batting. And look, all of a sudden, you only need 28 more runs. You're not even, well, you just got past the halfway stage of the 8th over. So you just passed the halfway stage of the innings. But 28 runs needed in the next 44 balls. Another ball that goes over the top, doesn't go where he's looking to play it. Looking to play it on the leg side. The top edge goes down to deep third.
Good short ball. We don't talk about that enough in this format of the game, but that was an excellent short delivery by Reefer. It came up on him quickly. Here's a good look at it again. He didn't just bang it in. It was on a good length, Brian.
Yes.
And maybe come off the shoulder, bat then shoulder. I understand that's something for the batter to think about, though.
Going around the wicket to the right here for the last ball of over number 8. Boy, that ball makes such a nice sound coming off of Akashit Gomel's bat. Single into the offside. 12 runs coming from the over. That is a productive over. End of 8. 26 more runs needed. 62 for 2. So 62 for 2. Ravindra Prasad into his last over now. 2 for 14. This is work down the ground. Raymond Reefer has a little bit of work to do, but it will just be a single. So I'll tell you, given where you are now, yes, we've said a number of times you need wickets. But with 8 wickets still in hand, Gajanan Singh, an aggressive batter at the crease, 11 from 5 to neutralize the left arm spin. Karshit Gomel, 19 from 20. You're starting to get to the point where your options of winning this game are limited. Maybe you would have wanted from here to have a few more wickets, but as of right now, they're cruising.
This is the point, as a fielder, you get your cell phone from your back pocket and start booking flights out of Atlanta International Airport. That's when you start looking at flights.
This is played on the ground for a single. You are brutal, boy. So are you saying that there's no way that they can come back and win this game, the Atlanta the Raiders and Atlanta Lightning.
Is there sure? Is there you could depend on on them coming back into this game. I think it's going to take something special, and even if you do get away, the other batter know what's at stake. He will slow it down again, and then pick up the singles, get back to business, and pick off a tear, and really starts to bowl something different to get those wickets.
Once again, you're doing it in single here, and each single.
You have to read the game. In yourself in trouble. Both take each its merit. Out stump, push it to the side. Anything on the middle leg, you go to the onside.
Yep.
And the batters are managing the game at the moment, and that's may not be the best viewing, but this is part of the game that you have.
Yeah. Work down the ground. Score taking a little bit of time. In fact, that is the end of over 9. 6 more to come. 21 runs.
I think really want so much experience watching the game. We're talking about cricketers who never are from the past.
And is best.
We don't have any comments to the viewers. Brian's out. Batter.
That would be Vivian.
So Vivian. Yes, I. An argument.
Find a scenario back into the attack.
Of course, destruction in batting.
Yep.
And then what a fielder covers, slip, wherever you need them, backward square. He will change the game. So yes, absolutely. With those facets, he will be top 3 players in T20 cricket, if not number 1, right? I mentioned Ian Botham on a previous broadcast. I'm going to stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up a controversial Steve Waugh, but because he was unable to score runs quickly, sort of weeded him out. And I thought that was a knock on cricket, because that was such a big part of the game, impacting the game in different areas rather than just scoring freely. So anyway, I'm going to remove Steve Waugh out of that discussion. Never got a chance to see Wasim Akram. Great bowler, but we saw what Wasim Akram could do in the last 50-over game. Got into the wickets in World Cups.
Absolutely destructive.
I think he would have had a say in T20 cricket. And we don't need to talk about his bowling, do we?
I mean, he's for me the
off
best
10 steps, change the game. Put it that way.
Best left arm I've ever seen in my life.
Ever. And
he's in the conversation
absolutely.
for the best fast bowler.
Absolutely.
But I think without question, fast left-handed fast bowler ever. Find a Madra in the meantime now bowling to Gajanan Singh, who's winding up for a big one. He wanted to finish this game.
It was a slow ball, Brian.
Yes, it was.
On the bowler's face, but he managed to keep his hands over it and keep it on the ground.
Yep.
And both of them are having a chuckle.
So just 2 balls remaining now in over number 10. The scoreboard has eventually caught up. The official score is 71 for 2. In most circumstances, but when you're trying to defend an undercooked total, you use bowling in a way that you don't. The lack of effectiveness. Just another 17 runs needed. Whoa, that was struck firmly. I was shielded, so I can't tell whether or not that was a catch. Did you have an angle to tell whether that was a catch?
I think it was a catch, but it was so hot.
Yes.
That ball is still cooling off. Here's that replay here. getting under this one. Good delivery again. Stock ball outside off stump. And boy, had some pepper sauce on it.
Yeah, that was
Going back to cricketers who didn't get a chance. What about
Clive Lloyd.
Sir Clive Lloyd? Absolutely.
Mhm.
There once was a fielder on long on boundary. West Indies playing against a club cricket team. And Clive Lloyd hit the ball so hard. It was one bounce. Long on dove out of the way. In England. His wife and his children were watching the game. It was a club match. He's like, no way, you're not gonna take me to the hospital. So actually, he drove out of the way. One cricketer, how go to Clive Lloyd, and Richie Beno smartly said, with a helmet on.
With a helmet on. That's simple. 10 up, 7-2. So it's all over, but the final right.
This is when the beagle starts to blast.
But
that's the sound of the last stand.
Yeah. But
she's at home with a step already.
It's not quite over yet. A double commentator's curse on this occasion. Guidance looking to hit a 15 off one. Across the straight ball and gets his off stump uprooted. 7-3.
And if possible, total.
The damage is certainly done. Coach, I'm going to. I want my team to look good, mental life.
Through this,
yes. I've seen shots result. Proper technique and frankly reckless.
You take when you go to wicket, when you're representing this team, that recklessness will not be allowed.
New batter is at the crease. Tony Patel into leg.
Now the ball is really into it when he appeals for the batter, flicking the ball down to.
Tony Patel, a first class from India, played at a very high level for a long time, so he would have been of times over the years. And again, batters, you think, would recognize the importance of the moment. In a chance is there no reason both of us need to walk off this field, not out, and just get ready to play in the 7th morning.
That will be my conversation if I was at the wicket with my partner between overs. I'm coming out, not out. You know what I mean? So that you know exactly where things stand.
Yeah.
There will not be a run out on mine. I'm going to chance it. So, and I'll probably the slowest ticket ever in the history of cricket anyway. So,
Ooh, off the edge for 2. Run the
we met Brian. There's no chance of a one.
So doing it in a rather painless fashion. You're now 12. Not updating. Unofficially, I have us at 76 foot. No. Now the single make that 7 for 3 as Sonny Patel works into the unsaid. Unofficially, that is the end of the over. At the end of 12, make that the end of 11. The score is unofficially 78 for 3. Okay, our technology has caught up with us. So the actual score is 76 for 3. They need another 12 runs, and Saurabh Netravalkar, opening bowler, left arm pacer, is now bowling to Sonny Patel. Sonny Patel, 2 from 2, and you are half a dozens away from this game being over.
Good delivery, Brian. Just short of a length. But look at the technique. Back and across, getting in line with the ball. So even though it was a good delivery, still comes off the middle of the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is again, just from behind the bowler's arm. Let's see what he was trying to do. Left arm over the wicket to the right hander. Great technique. Even though it was a defensive stroke, he came back with pepper.
Pepper, I like that. So just another 12 again.
Look at that. Look at that again. Back and across, gets in line with the ball, and he punches the ball with ferocity. That was a defensive stroke.
Yep.
We talk about taking this time out in the middle, Brian, getting yourself in form.
Feeling the ball onto the bats. That's exactly what you want to do here. And Sonny Patel looking really good. As I mentioned, he's a former first-class player out of India. Bats really, really well. All-rounder, genuine leg spinner, as well as a proper batter.
Again, good delivery. But Patel in the right place. Back and across, on off stump. In line and firmly pushes the ball to cover. So they are dot balls, but loud dot balls coming off the middle of the bat. And the fielders are rubbing their hands as they throw it back to the bowler.
Loud dot balls probably have the same effect as you mentioned earlier about helping the batters to play themselves in, almost like a net session in preparation for the semis tomorrow. Now there's the opportunity for the single.
This time we see Patel's wrist. He just takes the top hand off and guides the ball down into the point area. Again, fantastic technique.
Netravalkar into his last over. I believe that's accurate. My apologies. My tablet just ran out of power, so I'm winging it as we speak.
Similar to the Atlanta Lightning.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that time, Kaushik Gomel going up and over. Another single. One ball remaining here and over number 12. And once again, of course, from here, you would think that they have it well and truly under control. Kaushik Gomel has been there for a while. You can probably tell me how many runs he has.
Yep. 27 from 30. I'm glad you asked kindly. Only because you asked nicely, I give you an answer. But Patel, just looking at his technique, I could watch him back for the next 20 minutes. It's just lovely to watch. Classy player.
Off the back foot. That should just be one.
Talking about classy players, we don't want to talk Tendulkar. We want to talk players like Mark Waugh. Carl Hooper comes to mind. Players with just finesse and touch. spin and pace.
Absolutely. So, end of 12, 7-9 for 3. In 13th now, just single down to backward square leg. More than capable of just doing it in singles. Just run.
Man, they have the tight like that. Starting with the game.
It's a big hit. Tossed up and lets this one go by outside of off the ball. Leg in operation. I think we even acknowledged at this point, the Atlanta Lightning, that it's all over but the shouting. Tossed up, played to the offside.
Talk about up, but Patel was halfway the track as soon as that ball hit the bat. So 7 runs needed off of 16 deliveries.
Look what Sonny Patel does from here. Sonny Patel works it around in the corner and they'll run through for a couple. So that is just 2 more runs to the total. That means that another 5 runs separate the Raiders Unlimited from a spot in the semifinals tomorrow morning. Short ball, essentially a long hop, helped down to Sarb Netravalka at deep backward square leg. And now 1 glorious off drive away from this match being finished.
I want to talk about some teams that we expect to see tomorrow. We have the Masters Cricket Club and Kingsmen, 2 of the front runners for this prize.
Yep.
When I say prize, $100,000 worth of prize money up for grabs for the winners. So the Atlanta Open, a distinguished tournament.
One of the biggest in the country, and I'll tell you, it will be exciting tomorrow. End of over number 13. The score is 85 for 3. If it becomes clear that you are going to lose, would you prefer, and you're in the field, would you prefer for the batting side to just, knock off the last 20 runs in about 4 or 5 strokes, or would you prefer for them to take singles?
Has to be singles. It shows fight and fighting down, running through the tape, as you would say.
Vanessa Madra back on and working this one to Raymond Reefer. Quick pickup. Oh, wayward throw. They'll get 1, and because of the wayward throw, they get 2, and that means that the scores are level, and a run of any flavor wins the game from here for the Raiders Unlimited.
There's Reefer steaming in from mid-off, thinks he can get a chance for a run out, and the batter's bag and overthrow.
As I said, a run from any flavor. That flavor happens to be wide, and that is the end of the game. A game that always seemed to be the Raiders Unlimited to lose because of the undercooked total put on the board by the Atlanta Lightning. So the Raiders Unlimited win by the margin of 7 wickets, dominating victory.
All started with the bowling brand. The bowlers for the Raiders did the job in the first innings, setting up for the batters in the second innings to have an easy time out here. Their performance in the field was fantastic. And also the bowling was just spot on from ball number 1. So fantastic victory for the Raiders, and thoroughly deserved.
Absolutely thoroughly deserved. And you like to see, first of all, that the game was completed, because it was started this morning because of conditions beyond their control. The game was interrupted and they finished it later this afternoon. But after having lost Unmuk Chand and Lahiri Malanta, Atlanta Lightning really never found their way, put a relatively small total on the board. Clinical performance by the Raiders Unlimited to finish things off. So the bowlers.
Let's talk about the bowlers who made the impact
Yep.
to really set this thing up. Captain Savage,
Mm-hmm.
3 for 19. Got the prize wicket we talked about when he came back in for a second spell.
Yep.
Really turned things around when he got that wicket. And also we have Rao, 2.1 overs, 2 for 10. And Kenjigi was 3 overs, 2 for 15. He was stingy as well as getting wickets. And they really set the table for their batters in the second innings to have an easy go of it.
And so that is the game. Back tomorrow morning. We'll do this one more time.
With sweaters and coffee.
Sweaters, coffee, and adrenaline.
Yes, correct.
Signing off from the Paramount Sports Complex in Cartersville, Georgia. This is Brian Walters along with Ryan Davis. The Brian and Ryan Show takes a pause for the night. Good night. Good luck.